Welcome to Commuteless, a show about working from home with less stress and more freedom so you can live life on your terms. I'm joined today by my co-host, Corey Miller.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk about getting dressed.
Getting dressed.
Should you get dressed, Corey? It's a real thing when it comes to working from home. It sounds like a ridiculous topic.
It does seem to come up every now and again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting topic. Like, I think that there's some funny aspects to it, of course, that, we could kind of riff on. But, some of the things that we're going to be getting into is more of the psychological presence, I think, and the mindset of how do we prepare every morning? How do you get into the zone of I'm doing my day this way? So I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun. I like that you chose this topic because it's got kind of that silliness aspect, but I think there's a lot of really good stuff in here, which I think we really enjoy. So
yeah, it's got that good balance of it's fun, but it's also really practical as well. So I like that part of it. Currently, by the way, I'm wearing sweatpants as we record this episode.
Good.
So,
I'm wearing, I don't know what these are. These are a type of jean. I don't know if it's jean can be singular, but I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're wearing something though, Kyle. I might edit that out.
Yeah. I feel like it's a myth that people don't wear pants or something. Like, it's just a running joke.
Right.
If anybody listening is actually doing that, stop.
Wait, stop wearing them or stop not wearing them?
Well, okay. So logically, yes. If you get on video calls all day and you work remote, you don't technically have to wear pants. Let's just be honest.
Right.
But here's the thing. If you're on a video call with someone, this probably comes from me being a parent of an 18-month-old who is completely unpredictable. But let's say that something happens in the other room or in the room you're in, and you have to jump up and run out the door. If you're not wearing pants, it doesn't go well for you.
You are the mayor of Trouble City, that's for sure.
Yes. So just putting that out there, always wear pants that are at least like if someone saw you, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. I saw, I don't know if you saw this recently, but, there was this video that went viral of there was this kind of, team Zoom call that was going on. And one of the people who was on this call, she didn't know that her video was still on and took her laptop or iPad with her into the bathroom and proceeded to stay on the call while attending to her needs and going to the bathroom.
Oh no.
On this video call that was being recorded, and you just see everyone just panicking, just going like, what do we do? What do we do? Turn it off. Like they were trying to because she didn't know, no one really knew what was happening until the last minute. And I feel really bad. Like you don't want to be known as that person, like,
yeah.
There was another one I just saw a day or two ago where there was a news reporter who was working from home with a green screen behind him. And there was one person in another studio who was kind of talking and stuff. And then they cut over to the other guy who was working from home. But he didn't know they had cut to him. He was waiting for his turn, but he's kind of sitting there at his desk and he's got his knee up. Like he's kind of perched on his seat. And you just see the top of his bare knee. And he has like a suit top on. So he's got like a tie and a blazer and a button up, but it's just like this bare knee. And he's just like kind of typing away. And then he just kind of like, you can kind of see his eyes go big and he just like puts his leg down and kind of like tap, tap, tap. And then the camera goes away. And it's really cringy. And it's kind of funny to talk about the sorts of things. But I think that there's more I think that's certainly one part of it. But I think there's more to the aspect of, how am I preparing for my day? How am I presenting myself? If I'm the only one who sees me today, how am I presenting myself and bringing myself to work? And so I think that there's some interesting things there. I'd love to know kind of what your getting dressed routine. Maybe it sounds funny, but I'd love to know a little bit about your opinion on, and your methods of getting dressed for work, getting ready for work. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so I have this weird thing. I this may just be a Kyle thing, so it may be the weirdest thing in the world. If anybody else has this as well, please tell me because I don't know if other people have this or not. But if I don't like wash my hair, or I don't know, it's weird. Like if I don't comb my hair or wash it every day, I get a headache. Like like I
Hmm.
literally just don't feel right. It's very strange. But with that in mind, like there's just this mode switch when you, as simple as these things sound, like when you take a shower and you get dressed and you put on deodorant or whatever it is, like even if you're just going to stay in your house the whole rest of the day, there's this just a shift in everything. You feel less groggy, less tired. You feel more awake, and those are the things I try to do every day. Um, we're being fully transparent on this show, so I won't lie. I don't necessarily take a shower first thing in the morning every day, but I try to. That's definitely the goal. And when I do, I know I feel much better when I do that. If I don't take a shower, I do at least do all the other things like wash my hair and comb it and put on deodorant, brush my teeth, all those things, and kind of just treat it like I'm going to work today and I need to be presentable, even though, Corey, you thankfully can't smell me over the camera. And nobody's gonna really smell me except for my wife and child, which I want to spare them from any bad smells.
Of
But
course.
even if it's just me, I mean, there's been days where it's just me. And even if that's the case, I like to make sure I'm, you know, presentable even for myself. There's a self-confidence boost that comes from that as well. It's not just about looking good for another person, it's about how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you could get in front of somebody and talk to them? And
Right.
if you don't feel like you could walk into a room and talk to someone in person, as illogical as this may sound, you'll have that same feeling when you talk to someone, over a video call, because you feel like, okay, I'm not I'm not presentable for this. And so I'm kind of like, do they know about this? Do they know about that? Are they noticing my hair? I haven't done anything today. Like you still have all that in the back of your mind, and so you're a little less confident. You're a little less really just like focused and present. So I have those issues, and so I know you kind of just wanted me to go through my routine, but
No, that's good.
uh,
Yeah.
that's what goes through my head every day, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah.
That's my motivation. That's what I think about, and really for me, like my ideal day, the day I shoot for every day, is getting up, getting a shower, and then just getting ready for the day like I normally would, except for sweatpants. I wear sweatpants every day.
I mean, they are wildly comfortable. You have
Yes.
to you have to strike some kind of a balance between comfort and, the other stuff. Yeah, I like that you use the term mode switch. And we kind of talked about context switching a little bit in episode 2 at commuteless.fm/2. Um, you can there we're gonna talk about that probably a lot on this podcast because there's something really important about going from one kind of mode to the other. Um, and and I think for a lot of people and myself, I mean, I can really only speak to my own, person as how I feel about my work. But I feel like if I bring any kind of laziness or any kind of unpreparedness to my work setting, that flows out into the work that I produce. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, dressing up really nicely, like I wear a 3-piece suit and that's going to automatically make me do good work. But it's all about how am I bringing myself to the I was going to say to the table, but I mean that's kind of true. Um, the COO of ConvertKit, the company that I work for, Barrett Brooks, he one of his personal values is that he dresses up nice, like he's going to work every day, and that's part of his routine. That's part of his ritual, you might say, to bring his best to the workplace. And And there's also something to be said for, I don't know if you've ever seen any of those videos, or read any of those, studies on getting one small win the first thing in the morning. So a lot of people say, make your bed the first thing in the morning so that you start your day by accomplishing something. And when you accomplish something first thing in the morning, it puts your whole mode out of, oh no, I have to wake up. This is the worst. I wish I was sleeping. I'd rather be in bed. Like, you have to leave all of that stuff behind to bring your best self to your work. And that comes through whether it's taking a shower or having a good breakfast or getting morning chores done, whatever that looks like for you. It's important to have those accomplishments that you can bring into work. And a very simple version of that is, I'm going to put on clothes. I'm going to put on, even if it's like, okay, maybe it's not like I'm going to dress like, really nicely, quote unquote, but maybe it's a different set of comfortable clothes. Because let's be honest, there is a benefit of working from home where you can dress a little bit more comfortably than you might if you were working in an office. And I think that's totally fair. Like, I don't always wear button downs. I wear t-shirts a lot. Sometimes I wear sweatpants. But not always. Like, I never want to come to work in my pajamas. I think that's just kind of one of my personal rules. I don't want to come down to the basement and bring bed. I don't want to bring bed to work, if that makes sense. And so whatever I can do to change that, then, or to not change that, but to transition is important. Like you mentioned, not taking a shower first thing. Sometimes I take a shower midday, like around 11 or 12, but I've already had some kind of a switch over that has allowed me to get into that work mode, and so then I can handle the other stuff later when I'm just feeling really greasy and gross.
On that note, part of my criteria, I was just kind of thinking through this, how do I actually feel in the morning, and what do I think about? One of the things I think about when I'm getting up in the morning is, if can I go outside and potentially meet someone who lives by me that I've never met before? Like, would
Right.
I feel comfortable meeting them?
Huh. Yeah.
Because you could be in sweatpants, nobody cares. You're in your neighborhood, right? You could be in a comfy shirt, nobody cares. You're in your neighborhood. But if your hair is like all over the place and you look like you just woke up from a 10-day coma and and all that, like, you're not going to want to present yourself that way to someone you haven't met before. So that's part of my criteria. And sometimes it's actually true because um, we live in like a little suburb neighborhood, so we have to take out our garbage every whatever day. So I actually have to go outside, walk down to the edge of the street. There's people driving by going to work, and if I look like a nightmare, I don't really want to look that way. Like, I don't want to
Right.
scare the neighbors. So um, yeah, that's kind of like part of my criteria for, do I look and feel presentable?
Mm,
Just in general, like, do I feel good about myself? I think is a better way to put that,
right.
because this really isn't about you. Like, we're not really pushing the, like, you have to wear your dress clothes, like, like, you have to wear your dress clothes to work type thing.
Right. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's not what we're pushing. We're more so saying that you just you need to feel comfortable, feel confident, and have that self confidence throughout the day. And
Right.
so, whatever level that feels like for you. I mean, for example, Barrett might feel better getting really dressed up, right? Like, he may, like, for him that's a big thing. For you,
Right.
maybe just having, like, today I wore this t-shirt that says caffeine please and some sweatpants. And so t-shirt and sweatpants, but I, combed my hair, trimmed my beard, like, did a bunch of stuff to make myself feel like, okay, I'm a living, breathing person who's
Yeah. Yeah.
actively talking to other people.
Yeah. There's such value in that. And there's also, there's nothing wrong with getting dressed to the nines, as they say, as is the phrase. Right? Like, if that's what's going to make you feel confident, if that's what's going to make you feel like you're bringing your whole self to work, and that you can accomplish work and do your best there, then go for it. Like, we're not no one's grabbing a whistle and a striped shirt and jumping in and calling a foul. Like, no one's going to do that. Kyle might, but The point is there, are do you can you actually, I would even challenge you if you're like, whatever, is to try this out and say, okay, just go to quote unquote go to work in your pajamas versus taking time to work on yourself again. And this is not just for other people. It's about how are you feeling about, because you could go for a couple of days without literally seeing anybody, right? That's just the reality of working remotely. And so it's not always about, if are people going to see me and judge me? It's about you're going to see you and how are you going to feel about yourself in that situation, and are you bringing your best to accomplish what you want to accomplish?
Yeah. And also the like, I mean, I think this kind of goes without saying, but also the people around you who have to interact with you, think about them and and the fact that you smell terrible. Um,
Mhm.
it was interesting because I think we talked about this in I think it was episode 1 actually in the introduction episode, um, commuteless.fm/1, by the way.
Mhm.
So in that episode, I think we mentioned other people who have this perception of working from home, right? Where they think like, "Oh, you just do whatever you want all day and and you're at home, so we can call you anytime." There's this kind of stigma to working from home. And usually it's not from a place of uh it's not that they don't respect that you have a job. It's more from a place of just not understanding what that entails. And those same kind of people, like I've heard before, I go get dressed and put on deodorant or whatever. Um, I can't remember who it was or what the context was, but distinctly remember somebody saying, "Well, why does it matter? You work from home. Like, why do you need to put deodorant on?" And that hit me so weird because it's like, do you only put deodorant on because you're going to be around other people? Or is
Mhm.
it because you don't want to smell yourself? Like
Yeah,
what
right.
what is the motivation there? And so it made me realize how much of some of the things we do, and I think it varies from person to person, but there's a lot of things we do that we think are just for other people. But I think once you start working from home, and anyone who's listening that's worked from home for a while, you've already experienced this, I'm sure. But if you're just starting working from home and you're kind of like reveling in the idea that you can do whatever it is you want to do, um, eventually you're going to kind of, for lack of a better way to put it, get tired of yourself. Like,
Hmm.
doing these things that you think are fun, or that you think are or whatever, I don't have to put on deodorant, so I'm not going to. Well, eventually, like you're going to want to have done that,
Yeah.
like it kind of becomes a realization. So I don't know. I don't know if we're talking in circles about this, but it is important and it is a good part of your day to uh, think about how you're feeling, to think about how presentable you feel. Um, and also, like, just to mention this, Corey, there's also those surprise interactions with people.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you work remotely with a team, there's going to be some point where someone says, "Hey, can we just jump on a quick call and talk about this?" And if you
Totally.
are
Yeah.
like, I don't know, sitting there in your tank top with your hair all over the place, you're going to be like, I don't know."
Unless you have a really good relationship with that person.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
also, it's also partially being prepared for that, right?
Yeah.
Being prepared for the unknown. And, you know, going to, if you have an interaction like that, and you have to go get ready for it, that takes time away from you and the other person and all of those things. So just be prepared. Go to work. Like, go to work because you actually are going to work.
Yeah, right. And also take care of yourself. That's another part of the stigma, right? Is that the people who work from home, and maybe we only think about this because you and I are kind of in the technology field. And I feel like the work from home in technology field has like that extra, cheese fingers, dipping in there, and all you're eating is chips all day. Which I say because I ate half a bag of Doritos earlier today. Oh no. I just fulfilled that stereotype, dude. Oh no. They were really good though. They were the spicy nacho kind. Not a sponsor, but Doritos, get in touch. Um so it's about taking care of yourself, right? Like if you literally are just in your house all the time, there's no reason for you not to, right? Like put on some makeup, put on some nice clothes, trim your nails, trim your beard, like do your hair, put on some nice socks. I don't know. Do some things that make you feel nice, right? It provides this interesting connection between you and your work, which also can then be positive. If you're bringing positive energy into your work time, what you're doing is you're reinforcing that work time is a positive time. If you're bringing in sloth and not a sloth, but slothfulness and laziness and whatever kind of a zone, like that's what you're starting your work time off with is this whateverness. And that's just not productive and it's not beneficial. So bring your best in, and we'll talk a lot more, I'm sure, about environment. We talked a little bit about it in the last episode, but you're part of your environment, right? You have to take care of the little tiny little world that's around you so that you can do your best work. And you're part of that environment. So take care of yourself.
I really want a sloth now.
Oh, no.
Just to bring it to my office. Be like, here's my sloth. I brought it with me today.
If you had a sloth, what would you name it?
Wow. That's a good question.
I know what I would name mine.
I know what I would name mine as well. Go ahead. Go with your name.
I would name mine Barry because Barry Allen is the name of the Flash. He's very fast. Okay, now you go.
I was going to name mine 0.5.
Which, what?
Half speed.
Half speed?
Okay, we both swing and a miss for both of us. Corey, if you're ever like this podcast, for example, if you're listening to it, don't do this. Not recommended, but most podcast players have the option to like go to 0.5 speed, half speed. Yeah, so that's the thing.
Imagine listening to our voices on 0.5.
Just imagine.
Oh no. Well, is that the show?
Corey,
He's still going.
where? Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like we kind of, talked that to death a little bit, but it is
Sure.
important. It's
Yep.
it's a small topic and it seems minute from the outside. And if you went to a group of people who go to an office every day and you don't, and you told them this, they'd be like, that's not really an important topic, but it is, and it plays a lot into the bigger picture of things. And I think that's a lot of what this show is going to get into are those minute things as well as the big things. And so this was just kind of a fun one to throw in there, but hopefully it inspires you to take more action in the morning, to do some things for yourself and to just feel good and get your day started on the right track.
Love it.
So, Corey, you can, well, not you specifically, anyone listening can find all the episodes and show notes at commuteless.fm. You can also get in touch and ask questions at commuteless.fm/contact. And you can also leave a review at commuteless.fm/review. That really helps out the show and helps us get in front of people who could benefit from the show. And we'd really appreciate it if you just go and leave a positive review. Corey, I'm curious where people can find you online.
You can find me at CoreyDHMiller.com. That's where my development blog is. You can find me on Twitter at Corey, Corey DH Miller. And I mean, and then also just using the contact form. And actually, I'll throw this in there, Kyle. If you go to commuteless.fm/contact, I would actually love to hear if you have a getting dressed or morning routine, or if any part of this episode in particular kind of stood out to you. I would love to hear that. So you can either fill out that form or tweet at us on the Twitter. I feel so old, man. On the Twitter, are you kidding me?
On the Twitter.
But I'd love to know, like, what are your thoughts on getting dressed to work from home or not? I'd love to hear that. So, but yeah, that's where you can find me. What about you, Kyle?
You can find me at kyleadams.me, or on Twitter and Instagram at It's Kyle Adams, ITS Kyle Adams. Doing a lot of show, like the artwork for the show. So if you head over to Instagram at Commuteless FM, we're also on Twitter at Commuteless FM as well.
Oh yeah, we probably should have started off with that, huh?
At the time of this recording, we set these up today, so we're not quite used to it
Right.
yet, but we have them set up. And so over on the Instagram, I'll be sharing a lot of the show artwork as we make that. So if you enjoy the show artwork and you want to see more cool featured images, I hope they're cool, Corey, but I'll just call them cool, and then that will make
Might as
them
well.
cool.
Might as well.
But if you want to see more of that, and also a good way, some people like to see updates that way. So over there or Twitter, we'll be sharing some updates, some insights, kind of some bonus content as well. So head on over there and check it out.
Great.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.